Okay, we're here with Richard Parks. It's July 2nd, 2020. Richard, thanks a lot for coming to us from your home in Northern Ireland. How are things going for you right now?
Yeah, well, the season's half over now, Andrew. So it's not been as busy as it's usually been, but now we're all doing fine over here. Hope
Good,
so
good.
with you as well too.
Yeah. Uh, just wanted to thought we could check in. Today would have been, or actually, July 4th would have been the All Ireland Championships, and that's always a big contest for yourselves and other bands in Northern Ireland and Ireland. Always a great event, and this would have been the first year that the band Field Marshal Montgomery would have been without your drone engineer, your one of your sound engineers, Frank Andrews, who died last March. Give me a few thoughts about Frank Andrews and the role he played with Field Marshal Montgomery.
Yeah, very sad event to lose Frank. Everybody in the band who's always come through the band have loved Frank, and his personality within the band was excellent. I mean, he always kept me calm. That was the one that I tend to get a bit excitable at times, but Frank was laid back character and always had a hand in keeping me calm on the day of a competition. I mean, he's been with the band since 2000, and it was a winter of 2001 when he came. I mean, I had been doing all the work myself up until then. 2001, I think the band was getting bigger, and I think we had about 17 pipers that year. And I realized that year that I couldn't do this. I couldn't do it all on my own. And I had a thought during the winter, and I thought, the best person to help me out with this is definitely Frank. Listening to his band over the years, he always produced a tremendous sound, and I would be able to trust his ability in ensuring that we could get the best out of our sound. And I rang him up and I said, Frank, would you be interested in coming and help tuning the drones in the band? And he said, in his laid back manner, he says, oh, well, you'd have to be doing that at a pretty high level to do that job. And I said, yes, Frank, that's why I'm asking you. And thank goodness he took on the job, and he did a brilliant job ever since. And he's a big part of our team, and we'll miss him a lot. And he was a great friend of everybody and myself as well. So it was a great loss.
Yeah, we're sorry about that, and a lot of the piping drumming world knew Frank Andrews, and we remember him fondly, certainly. The role of a drone tuner or drone engineer for a pipe band, how important is that? Certainly at the grade one level, but throughout the grades.
Yeah, let me just say, I mean, Frank didn't just do drones. He would when he was going around the circle, he would be listening to the overall chanter sound and everything. So he would come back to me, and he would never actually single anybody out, but he would say somebody over beside so and so there, you might need to want to have a wee listen to that person. And it was always good information because you would go straight away and you would find that there was something wrong. So he was doing all of that as well. So he wasn't just a drone tuner. He was listening to the overall sound of the band and giving feedback. And I always get feedback from all my tuners within the band. And I'm always asking because generally when the bands are so big now, you can't hear everything. You can only hear the various area around you. So you need to have trusted people that you can ask the questions to. And Frank was one of those as well. So he would always come back with that. But I think overall, a good drone tuner is very, very important throughout the grades. I mean, a good drone sound covers a lot. I mean, if you have chanters which are not really 100% tuned, a really good drone sound can help blend that all in. But if you have chanters that are perfectly in tune and your drones aren't right, it won't sound right, no matter what. So a blanket drone sound is very important for any band throughout any grade.
Well, definitely, Field Marshal Montgomery wrote the book on that blanket drone sound, the hallmark of the band's pipe section sound overall, and really set a standard over the years. What about, I know he's irreplaceable, but how would you go about finding a new person, new people to take on that role for a band at such a high level as Field Marshal Montgomery?
Well, I have to say the other people that we're working with, Frank, we're learning from him as well. And his son was one of the people that helped us over here. And we'll try and keep him involved and the rest of the drone tuners that we had. Whether we bring another person in, we'll need to decide that in the future. But the people who worked under Frank saw what he did and tried to learn from what he did. And hopefully we can go ahead with those people and try and continue on.
And
We will continue on.
And Field Marshal Montgomery, Richard, like every band on earth, you've been in a lockdown situation, not able to practice together. But have you been having get-togethers with the rest of the band? Have you been practicing, or are you on a bit of a hiatus until, say, the fall?
Well, we had a really good winter's practice. We learned two new medleys this year, and we were quite excited about the season. Um, the fact that we didn't win any majors last year really motivated the band to be better, and we had a really good winter's practice, as I said, and things were going good up until our last practice in February, and then the coronavirus hit. Um, so basically, since then we've been on a break. I think it's very difficult to keep people motivated when there's nothing to work for. I think the fact that we're on a break, people are really, really keen to get back to practice, and it is our aim um, to have an outdoor practice before the end of the summer, and keep looking at the situation and seeing when it's safe that we can actually do that and get out and have a good practice outside and have a bit of social interaction afterwards. We have been socially active on Zoom on a number of occasions. We've had Zoom meetings and Zoom quizzes and Zoom late nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday mornings. Um, but that's just a social interaction, which is really good, actually. But everybody's really keen to get some form of practice in before the end of the summer, anyway.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's keen to hear pipe bands outside again, and certainly to hear Field Marshal Montgomery. What about after this whole thing is over, after the coronavirus and lockdown and all the mess is done? Do you think there are things that we're going to be able to take away from this that are useful that we can carry forward, that we've learned from this?
I think from a pipe band playing, it's difficult to see that. I mean, we're going to have to be more hygienic with our instruments. I think that's obvious. I mean, when you think of a virus like this, which is airborne, and we need to be a bit more hygienic with our instruments. We need to make sure we clean them. We need to make sure we keep cleanliness at the height of what we do. And I don't know where we're going to go with practicing inside as well. I mean, I think we need some sort of a vaccine to eradicate the virus, to be quite honest. Um, it'd be very interesting to see what happens in New Zealand. They've been really good at actually almost eradicating the virus, and it looks like they will be getting some sort of a pipe band season this winter. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens over there to see if that's something that we can replicate over sometime in the future.
Hmm. Well, time will tell for sure, and it's a difficult time. But Richard Parks, Fight Major of Field Marshal Montgomery, really appreciate the time you've taken to talk to us about Frank Andrews and a little bit of an update on what's going on with Field Marshal Montgomery these days. And we look forward to hearing the band in the future.
Yeah, I look forward to putting the band out there so that everybody can hear it, Andrew, and everybody else as well.
All right, thanks again.
Thanks, Andrew.